Hello everyone, welcome to Arka Science, and today in this video I will be talking about the transit of Mars into the sign of Cancer for all 12 ascendant signs. On 10th of May 2023, Mars has entered the sign of Cancer. It is its debilitation sign. And this transit of Mars will be till 1st of July 2023. In the natural zodiac, Cancer becomes the fourth house, the fourth sign of the natural zodiac. It signifies happiness, it signifies comforts, luxuries, it signifies the happiness and nourishment, the motherly happiness, the bonding with our mother, our emotions, mental security, mental peace, the place where we live, the place where we dwell, the place where we find the ultimate happiness. That is the reason it is connected with mother, because in and around our mother we feel the ultimate protection and security, because she not only loves us from the core of her heart, but also she tries to maintain all the essential things which are required for our nourishment, for our development and our happiness. She knows each and everything regarding us. That is the sign of Cancer, and that is the reason we feel the most ultimate happiness in and around our mother. That is the sign of Cancer. The most important part here is that Mars turns debilitated in the sign of Cancer. Mars is the fiery energy. Mars likes to go out, fights the battle, and gets the victory for the king. That is what the energy of Mars is, because Mars is a soldier, it's a warrior. And Cancer is the place where we live, where we rest. So here Martian energy gets that contradiction. It feels that as if it is not meant to stay here. That is in the sign of Cancer, and that is the reason Mars debilitates in the sign of Cancer. On 10th of May, when Mars has entered the sign of Cancer, now it has turned debilitated, and this thing will go on till 1st of July 2023. And Mars is a very important planet for every one of us. Now it can be the ruler of any house in your horoscope, but still I will say you it is the one of the most important planet for every one of us, because Mars is basically our energy, our ability to take actions. Now whatever you are doing, like suppose I'm speaking to you, for that I need energy, that is Mars. You are listening, for that you need to be active, that is again Mars. Everything which we do, we need that urja shakti. That urja shakti is basically Mars. It can be anything. Now you may be thinking that I am using my intellectual abilities to do some work. For that also your brain needs to be active. For that you need to have a proper nervous system. Although nervous system is ruled by Mercury, but for its proper functioning you need that energy, that is again Mars. And that Mars is turning debilitated. That means this is a time of looking into the things which we normally don't look into. Like suppose while we are exercising or channelizing our energies during this debilitation, this is a very good time to look into the loopholes, that are we putting our energies in correct directions or not? Are we doing some kind of mistakes? Are we exaggerating the things? This is a time you will see two things will be very common in every one of us, in every one of us lives. You will see two things. First thing is that we will be able to look into the loopholes where we are putting our energies, because sometimes certain things are there which must be coming in front of us, so that we can understand, these are the things we need to be very much active about, which we need to make some correction about. because after Mars leaves the sign of Cancer, it will enter the sign of Leo, and that time it will be like acting as a independent, freedom loving energy, and it will go towards its goal. It will be a very creative energy that time. But for energizing Mars to that level, we need to find that loopholes, that what is missing. Now that can be related to anything, that can be related to our intellectual abilities, that can be related to our health, it can be something related to our family matters, personality, our finances, whatever it is. Wheresoever Mars has the lordship or rulership in your horoscope, those things you will see, you need to have a proper control, means you need to work on it during this particular time. Now since I talked about proper control, here comes the second thing which will be very common during this time. You will see, uh, Mars is our willpower. Mars is that energy to work on certain things. Like wheresoever Mars is placed in your horoscope, normally what happens, we exercise our energy in that house. Now that can be your fifth house, your eighth house, your tenth house, your first house, whatsoever it is. We are exercising our energies in that house, basically. Okay. So that means we are trying to put some control over there. That yes, let me do it in this way. So when Mars turns debilitated, what happens? You will see that, because when you feel all these things, type it down in the comment that did you feel it or not. You will see that certain things are going out of bound. Like Mars is transiting in the sign of Cancer. Now Cancer can be your first house, your third house, your 10th house, your 7th house, whatsoever it is, depending upon your ascendant. Okay. Now in that house Mars is transiting, you will see the significance related to that house, that is the sign of Cancer, wheresoever it lies in your horoscope. You will feel that certain things are going out of your control, out of your bound. You will try your best to make it correct, you will try your best to bring it in proper order, but more you try it, more it will go out of bound. So this is an indication that certain things are there which are not in order, and that is the reason it is going out of bound. So we have to work on those things. And one more practical remedy regarding this is that certain things needs to happen in order to give us some proper results related to our karma, some lessons you can say. So more you are thinking that let me work my best to bring it in proper order and control so that I will be the victorious, that winner. I will say during this particular time, don't overdo anything, because more you try to control it, more it will give you frustration and anxiety. Let it be. It's a matter of 50 days. It will give you lessons in a very positive manner. Trust me. What will happen? The things which are not getting in control, that things you will see that either you will feel that it was not meant, or automatically the when Mars will transit the sign of Leo, it will come in order. So this is not a good time to overdo anything which are not under our control, or which are not under our bound. So certain things can be like, you may feel that it is going out of limits. So you just follow your righteousness, you just follow your willpower, your efforts, your actions in right manner. You just follow your own dharma, your own karma in right manner. That is what is meant. And important part here is that Mars rules the sign of Aries and Scorpio. At this moment of time, the sign of Aries is afflicted. Sign of Scorpio is also under the aspect of Saturn. You see, Aries and Scorpio both are under the aspect of Saturn at this moment of time. And most important part here is that from the sign of Cancer, Mars will also aspect the sign of Aquarius, where Saturn is transiting. So basically here Mars is aspecting Saturn, Saturn is aspecting Aries and Scorpio, ruled by Mars. So this is a time when we need to be very careful regarding our efforts, our actions, our willpower. Okay, now what happens, this is a time, since Cancer is a sign of emotions, it may be a possibility, it may happen that when we interact with someone, it may start with some normal conversations, but it may lead to like some kind of expressions or some kind of arguments which are leading to some kind of anger, anxiety or frustration. Means it may be like, this is a time when we may vent out our emotions through that Martian energy, because Mars is that fiery energy, and Cancer is that watery sign, that very soft emotional state of mind, and that emotional state of mind is getting agitated by that fiery energy of Mars. So what is the remedy out of here? The best remedy here is that if certain things are not under your control, let it be. It's a matter of 50 days. Now you may feel that what if the things doesn't get okay or doesn't get fine afterwards? Then I will say you, if the things are really meant for you, it will stay with you. This is a time when you have to trust the process. If something is disturbing you, or you are feeling insecure, why I say the word insecurity? Because Mars rules the sign of Scorpio. If certain things are making you insecure, try it, give it a challenge. If certain things are meant for you, it will be for you, trust me. And if it is not meant for you, more you try, who is getting the pain, who is getting the frustration, who is becoming anxious? You know the answer, correct? So this is the time, give it a try, just give it and this is not a test for you, this is the test for that person or that thing which is actually creating the problems or that anxiety within you. It is not a test for you, basically you are giving the time. Okay, take a challenge, because after Mars turns into the sign of Leo, it will fill you with so much immense energy. It will give you that independence. You will feel that, okay, if it was really meant for me, I am there. If it is not really meant for me, no matter, I'm not worried for that, because now Mars has turned into the sign of Leo on 1st of July. So this is a time when we should not be nervous, we should not be fearful, but yes, we should be careful regarding how we are exercising our energies. If any conversations or anything is leading to some kind of anger, or where you are feeling that yes, it may lead to some kind of frustration, you have to understand that what will be the consequence of that frustration. Is it really going to solve the problem for you, or is it really going to disturb you afterwards? If you feel that yes, it is not going to solve the problem for you, then give it a try, leave it, let it be, don't overdo anything, because ultimately the peace and happiness matters, and that is the sign of Cancer is all about. Okay, so, and definitely this particular transit of Mars will have different kinds of results for every one of us. It is not going to be same for everyone. It is not going to bring different like same magnitude of results. It will bring different kinds of results, and specifically those who are running through the dasa of moon, you will get the results to, I will say, to that higher magnitude. Anyone going through the dasa of moon, anyone going through the dasa of Mars, anyone going through the dasa of Saturn, because Mars will be aspecting Saturn in the sign of Aquarius. Okay, anyone going through the dasa of Venus, because Mars will be aspecting the sign of Libra also from the sign of Cancer. But more I will say the dasa of moon, because moon is a very emotional planet, very soft planet. Okay, So this is a time when you need to be very careful regarding how you are dealing with your own emotional state. This is a very essential time. Take care regarding the health of your mother. Okay. Any matter related to your home, try to maintain the things in a more cordial manner. That will give you much more better results. Okay. And definitely it will have different kinds of results for every one of us. So anytime if you want a consultation from me, check the links down in the description section. You can mail me through my email id, or you can connect with me through my Facebook or Instagram accounts. And if you are new to this channel, then I will request you that please subscribe to my channel. Tap onto the subscribe button, click onto the notification bell icon, so that every time I make a new video you get notified instantly. So now let us start with all the 12 ascendant signs. And yes, definitely check it from your ascendant sign first, and then check it from your moon sign, so that you will have a proper insight. Okay. But first from the ascendant sign. So now let us start with the Aries ascendant people. For the Aries ascendant people, Mars is the Lagna Lord, Mars is the 8th Lord, and transiting through the 4th house. So this is a time when first of all you need to be very careful regarding your health. Your health matters, your discipline, your punctuality, and your personality matters. This is a time which actually indicates you should not do anything which is not meant to be done, or which is not meant for you to be done, because that can lead to some kind of defamation. Why? Because Mars is the Lagna Lord, and your Lagna is aspected by Saturn. Mars is transiting in the 4th house, aspecting the 10th house and 7th house. 10th house and 7th house, basically they both are the houses of mass fame, public image. Okay. So any matter which is not meant to be done by you, or not meant for you, don't go for it. Don't give it a try that yes, oh, let me do it. No, don't do that. Okay. Don't become too much over adventurous during this particular time. Take care regarding the health of your mother. This is a very essential time when you need to be very careful regarding your domestic matters and your partnership matters. Now that partnership can be personal partnership, or it can be professional partnership, because suppose you are married, or you are in a relationship. In that particular case, you should be very careful regarding your married life and your relationship. Okay. Your bonding with your in-laws has to be corrected during this particular time, because certain matters will be there which can come in front of you, which may be reason of anxiety and frustration. That with regards to professional partnership also, I will say that any matter related to your joint asset may come in front of you, where you need to put your focus and attention. So this is also a time. Don't get into any kind of new collaboration. Strictly I will say, don't go into any kind of new collaboration. Don't. This is not a good time. Okay. And certain matters at your professional place also may lead to some kind of opposition between you and your authorities. So try to control, have a control. Okay. It is just a matter of 50 days. I know it is, you may feel that okay, 50 days is very big, but still I will say that just focus on your right things, karma and dharma. That will give you much more better results. So that's it for the Aries ascendant people. For the Taurus ascendant people, the transit of Mars is happening in your 3rd house. Now normally the transit of Mars in the 3rd house is considered very good, but here Mars is debilitated. So what will happen? You may have that immense energy, immense willpower to work on certain things, but when you start the work you may feel that I don't know what to do. So I will say this is not a good time to start any new project. Try to work on your the things which you are working. Try to rectify those things. If you are feeling that certain loopholes are there in your work, in your efforts, or in your actions, try to work on that. This is also a time you have to work on your communication skills also, because 3rd house is the house of communication. So try to avoid any kind of anger related issues, or don't go into any kind of arguments or disputes. Okay, because Mars will be aspecting your sixth house also. Although this aspect of Mars onto the sixth house will give you victory over your opponents, that is for sure, but also this can lead to some kinds of fights also. So try to avoid it, because Mars is transiting in the sign of Cancer. So because what will happen during this particular time, your emotions will come out with expression with respect to your communication skill, or with respect to your efforts. Okay, so try to avoid any kind of disputes or clashes during this particular time. And this is also a time when some kind of difference of opinion may occur between you and your friend circle, or your younger siblings specifically. Okay, in your daily contact also, when you meet someone, try to avoid any kind of matter which can lead to some kind of arguments. Okay, Mars will be aspecting your 10th house and 9th house. Okay, so this is also a time when you need to be very careful regarding how you are dealing with your father, with your guru, your superiors and authorities. Okay, so these are the things which you need to be very careful about during this transit of Mars into the sign of Cancer in your third house. So that's it for the Taurus ascendant people. For the Gemini ascendant people, the transit of Mars is happening in your second house. Now this transit has to be taken care of, because you see, second house is basically the house of family, wealth, values, our speech. So this can actually make you very straightforward in your speech, means you may be at times very rude at your speech. The person who is listening you, that person may feel, oh my god, this person, because your speech may hurt them. Okay, so try to maintain that proper thing, that while you are speaking something, don't get too much that straightforward and rude. You can try to maintain some proper emotions. Okay, and then you can speak the things. Okay, that will be much more better. Any family matters may all of a sudden may come in front of you, or you may feel a bit worried and anxious regarding your family matters. And this is also a time, don't get into any kind of unnecessary expenditures, or I will say that don't make any financial or investment plans during this particular time. This is very essential. Since Mars rules your 11th house, and your 11th lord is debilitated in the second house, so this is also a time which actually indicates that uh, any matter related to your growth, development, or fulfillment of wishes may not be according to your wish, or you may not be happy regarding your growth and development. Certain things will be there which you may feel that I need to work on certain things, I need to try some new things, because these particular things are not making me happy, or not adding up to my growth or financial growth. Okay, these are the things which you need to be very careful about. You need to also be very careful about regarding your food eating habits, very essential during this particular time. Okay, this Mars will be aspecting your 8th house and 9th house. So first of all, I will say try to avoid any sudden displacement or sudden travels. Try to avoid it. Try to maintain cordial bonding between you and your spouse, you and your partner, specifically with regards to your in-laws. Okay, or suppose if you are any kind of professional partnership, in that particular case also I will say try to maintain the things very cordially, specifically with regards to joint assets. Don't get into any new kind of collaboration during this particular time. Okay, that's it for the Gemini ascendant people. Okay, and take care regarding your health also during this time, because Mars is your sixth lord also transiting in the second house. So try to take care regarding your health, regarding your food eating habits and everything. Okay, these are the things which you need to be very careful about. For the Cancer ascendant people, this transit of Mars is happening in your first house. I will say this is the most important transit for you. this particular 51 days, I will say, because Mars is a very important planet for the Cancer ascendant people. It is the yoga karaka planet, and it is turning debilitated in the first house. So first and foremost thing here is that you need to work on your own personality, own health, self development during this particular time. You may feel anxiety and frustration on certain things. Now that can be related to your decision making, your self management, your work related things. Okay, but I will say try to take the steps in a try to take small steps, I will say, basically during this particular time, because Mars in the first house, normally what happens, it makes the person so energetic that the person makes some big decisions, and here Mars is debilitated, so your decision making can be wrong. So try to take small steps, work on it, and if you feel the things are not getting correct, then don't overdo anything. Try to work on your loopholes, basically. So the essential things which can be understood from the first house, that is our general intelligence, our health, our personality, discipline, punctuality, these are the things which you can work upon during this particular time, and that will give you much more better results, and that will not only help you in your personal life but also help you develop a proper image at your professional out front also. Okay, because lord of your 10th house is Mars, and that Mars is debilitated in your first house. So more you work upon your own personality, discipline and punctuality, more it is going to give you good results with respect to your profession and job. Okay, Mars will be aspecting your 4th house and 7th house. So during this particular time you need to be very careful regarding your partnership matters and your domestic affairs also, domestic matters also. Okay, so that's it for the Cancer ascendant people. For the Leo ascendant people, the transit of Mars is happening in the 12th house. Now this transit has to be taken care of, because Mars is again the yoga karaka planet for the Leo ascendant people, and normally the transit of Mars in the 12th house is not considered that good, because 12th house is basically the house of our subconscious mind, and in the subconscious mind, whenever a fiery planet like Mars transits, it normally makes us very anxious. Sometimes it can be related to our anger, that which is within us, that frustration that may all of a sudden come in front of us, and it may get vented out whenever we are communicating with other people, because from the 12th house Mars will be aspecting your 3rd house of communication. So during this particular time, one thing I will say, you try to avoid any travels, specifically travels to any faraway lands. Even if some kind of travels are there, even if you are thinking that the travel is pre-planned or I have to go there, you may go there, but ultimately you may feel that I am not getting the ultimate happiness out of here, or you may feel my expectations were something else but I'm not getting the proper results. Because why I say it, because Mars happens to be your 9th lord for the Leo ascendant people. Now 9th house deals with long distance travel, and 12th house is basically far away lands. Your 9th lord Mars is transiting in the 12th house. So even if you go to some far away place, you may not feel that happiness, you may not feel that satisfaction, you may feel that okay, but I'm not getting that actual good feelings out of it. Okay, so this is a time when you need to be very careful regarding your health. Any prevailing health matters, if you are going through, then you should be very careful, you should not ignore it. Okay, because Mars is debilitated in the 12th house and aspecting your 6th house. Okay, so you need to be very careful regarding that. Try to involve more in physical exercises, yoga practice or meditation, because that will channelize your energy and ultimately it will help you to get some proper sleep and rest. Because normally in 12th house Mars makes a person very restless. Okay, because at the subconscious level the energy is very high, so channelize the energy in that way. During this particular time, I will say, try to help people, try to help other people without the expectation that what I am getting in return. Don't get into that expectation, rather I will say try to help people. Now that can be with the help of your physical efforts, okay, by your actions, willpower, that yes, let me help you out, or it can be through some kind of charity also. Okay, but don't expect anything in return, because in the 12th house normally what happens in 12th house is basically the house of loss, and Mars is our energy. Okay, so what it normally means that you may feel that I'm doing so many things but I'm not getting that recognition, the appreciation. So don't expect this thing now. In fact, after the 1st of July, when Mars comes to this sign of Leo in your first house, that time you may feel that yes, ultimately I am getting that recognition. Okay, so that time it will give you much more better results. So that's it for the Leo ascendant people. For the Virgo ascendant people, the transit of Mars is happening in your 11th house, and Mars is debilitating in the sign of Cancer in your 11th house. And normally, the transit of Mars in the 11th house is considered good, but here Mars is debilitated. So although you will have the proper energy to work in a proper team spirit, or suppose you are working in a project, in that case also this transit of Mars is going to give you very good results, specifically in your network circle, in a group, in a team. But since Mars is debilitated, so certain matters within your network circle or within your group, which you are avoiding or which you are not liking, all of a sudden you will feel that now it is a time to speak about it. Okay, so all of a sudden you may feel that the things are not getting right, the things are not getting correct. So you may feel that this is the time to express the feelings, so you may get emotional and it may come out through your speech, because Mars will be aspecting your second house of speech. Okay, so I will say you that during this particular time, try to avoid any arguments, try to avoid any disputes or classes, because this is not a period of day or two, it is a basically time interval of 51 days. Okay, and suppose if you are working somewhere, then it is during this particular 51 days, different kinds of work will be there, you have to interact with different kind of people, you need to cooperate, or you will also need cooperation from other people also. Okay, so try to work on the loopholes, but again at the same time try to channelize your energy in such a way that it does not lead into some kind of arguments or disputes. Okay, so it is very essential during this particular time. And since Mars is debilitated in your 11th house, so certain matters related to your income, certain matters related to your development, growth, with regards to specifically your financial growth, I will say, you may not be satisfied on certain things, on certain front. You may feel that I'm doing so many things, but I'm ultimately what is happening, I'm not getting the actual results out of it, I'm not getting the proper benefits out of it. So you may feel like that. So that can be some kind of, that can lead to some kind of classes between you and your superiors and authorities. So I will say that during this particular time, try to avoid this classes, don't overdo anything, just follow your work, because this can lead to some kind of problems, some kind of arguments, or that can lead to some kind of problems. Okay, that's what I will say, because Mars happens to be your 8th lord also. Now here, this also indicates that you need to be very careful regarding your health, and during this particular time don't get into any kind of speculation or speculative business, like anything related to speculation, stock market or something like that. Try to avoid any kind of investment or financial plans related to all these things during this particular time. Okay, you need to be very careful regarding this. Since Mars happens to be your third lord and it is debilitated in the 11th house, so this during this particular time, try to avoid any displacement or any kind of travels. Okay, and what you are communicating, how you are communicating, needs to be very important and needs to be given extra care of. Like suppose if you are associated with any work related to communication sector, now that can be mass media, journalism, so during this particular time, out of your emotions, don't say anything which can lead to some kind of problems for you. Okay, during this particular time it is very essential. And Mars will be aspecting your 5th house, so at times it may make you very very anxious regarding your decision making. You may feel that let me do it, let me do this. Okay, don't hurry into anything. Work on it, think about it, because your fifth house is the sign of Capricorn. Work on it, look into it, that is the thing really meant for you, then only start it, else not. Okay, and fifth house is also the house of love and romance. So I will say you that this is not a good time to get into a new kind of relationship, or no, not a good time to get into a love relationship or something like that. Okay, rather I will say work on your present relationship, because certain matters will be there which you may feel that may be disturbing you. You have to work on those things, that will give you much more better results. So that's it for the Virgo ascendant people. Okay, for the Libra ascendant people, the transit of Mars is happening in your 10th house, and this transit is very important because you see 10th house is basically the house of karma, job, career, profession. Okay, and Mars is a very important planet for you. It is the second lord and it is the seventh lord. So certain matters related to your profession, your work, which you may not like, all of a sudden may come in front of you, where your attention or focus will be very much will be on your work and everything. Okay, so I will say that just follow your work, just don't overdo anything. And this is not a good time to talk about any matter related to your work with your superiors and authorities, because that can lead to some kind of classes, some kind of issues between you and your superiors. Rather just follow your work with proper discipline and punctuality. And this is also a time when you may feel that uh, means that financial freedom or financial independence, or that confidence related to your money matters, or your finances. You may feel that some kind of anxiety or frustration related to that, or you may feel that you are working but you are not getting that appropriate amount of sources of income out of it, because your second lord is turning debilitated in the 10th house. Okay, Mars happens to be your seventh lord also. So during this particular time, you need to be very careful regarding your professional partnership. Like suppose if you are in any kind of business partnership, or in any kind of collaboration, so certain matters with regards to your partnership may disturb you. Okay, with regards to your growth and business, your job or something like that. With regards to your partnership professionally, at the personal level also I will say, suppose if you are in any kind of married life or anything related to your relationship, take care regarding that, take care regarding the health of your spouse. Okay, that is very essential. And don't get into any kind of arguments or any kind of classes which disturb the peace of mind, because Mars will be aspecting your first house and fourth house, so at times it can make you very hot headed. Okay, and that can ultimately lead to disturbances in your happiness index. Okay, so try to work on that, that will give you much more better results. Okay, that's it for the Libra ascendant people. For the Scorpio ascendant people, Mars is very important planet for you, because Mars is the Lagna lord. Mars is also your sixth lord, but Mars happens to be your first lord, your ascendant lord, Lagna lord. That Mars is transiting in the ninth house of luck, fortune, prosperity, divinity, your higher spiritual knowledge. So during this particular time, you may feel that your belief system, the things which you had been believing or had been working on, the core spiritual knowledge within you, that core wisdom within you, you may feel that those things are not getting proper work, or not getting proper application in your real life. You may feel that yes, I had that belief system, I used to believe all these things, but I'm not getting proper results on these beliefs in my personal life. So that can be a type of conflict between you and your belief system. This can also lead to some kind of disturbances between you and your father, and the teachings of your father and guru. You may feel that the things which you are knowing from your childhood, or try knowing through the teachings of your guru and father, you will feel that this is not working in real life. So this is a time when you may feel that let me try something else, let me find my own way. because ninth house is also the house of optimism, our aims and ambitions. Okay, that optimistic way of living. So you may feel that let me try to find my own way. So I will say that before you jump into any kind of new work or jump into any kind of new way of life, I will say that ninth house is also the house of higher knowledge and spiritual wisdom. So any matter which is disturbing you, try to go to the core of that matter. Try to learn new things. Try to improve your skill set. Try to improve your creative intelligence. That will give you much more better results, and then you can work on your ambition, your aims, your optimistic ideas, and that will give you much more better results. This is not a good time to make travels. Don't travel. Try to avoid the travels during this particular time. Rather, I will say, try to work on your own spiritual self. That will give you much more better results. Since your sixth lord is turning debilitated in the ninth house, so during this particular time I will also say that try to avoid taking any kind of debts or loans during this particular time. There can be some expenditures related to your health, because Mars is the Lagna lord aspecting the 12th house, that also in the sign of debilitation. So take care regarding your health. Don't start any new work haphazardly. Okay, and try to avoid any kind of unnecessary expenditures, or try to avoid taking any kind of new loans or debts. These are the important things which you need to be very careful of. That's it for the Scorpio ascendant people. For these Sagittarius ascendant people, this transit of Mars is happening in the 8th house. Now normally the transit of Mars in the 8th house is not considered that good, and here Mars is debilitated. And Mars is a very important planet for the Sagittarius ascendant people, because Mars is the fifth lord, Mars is the 12th lord. But since it is the fifth lord, it is becoming one of the auspicious planets for the Sagittarius ascendant people. Now that fifth lord is turning debilitated in the 8th house. So first of all, here I will say you that during this particular time you need to be very careful regarding your self management, regarding your management skills and day to day life management. Means your decision making, the things which you are deciding that yes, these are the things I need to work upon, because you may feel that you are thinking something but it is not getting fulfilled in real life, or it is not taking a proper shape in real life. You may feel like that, or you may also feel that you work on certain things but the results are happening completely opposite, or results are happening all of a sudden something else, because 8th house is suddenness, 8th house is something which is not known. Okay, so results can be haphazard. So I will say you expect the unexpected things. Don't get frustrated out of it, don't get anxious out of it, because it will work on your insecurities. You may feel that I don't know what is happening going to next. So expect the unexpected things, and during this particular time take extra care of your love relationships and your romantic relationship. And I will say that if you're thinking to get into a new kind of relationship, try to avoid it. Okay, so that will give you much more better results. And since it is the 8th house, so during this particular time take care regarding your health also. Don't get into any kind of adventure activities or sports activities which are not meant for you. All of a sudden don't get into that. Okay, because that can lead to some kind of injuries or problems. Okay, now Mars is a very fiery planet transiting in the 8th house, so drink a lot of water, because it will increase the heat element within the body. Okay, so that can lead to some kind of diseases related to heat. So that can be fever also, stomach issues also. Okay, drink a lot of water. Okay, try to maintain that calm and composed behavior within you. Try to avoid any kind of arguments during this particular time, because Mars will be aspecting your second house and third house. Don't start any new work during this particular time. Just focus on your present work. Try to maintain the things. Okay, on your loopholes, on the drawbacks, work on it. That will give you much more better results. So that's it for the Sagittarius ascendant people. For the Capricorn ascendant people, the transit of Mars is happening in the 7th house. Now I will say that this transit is very important, because Mars is a very important planet for you. Mars happens to be your fourth lord of happiness and your 11th lord of gains, fulfillment of desires, and that is turning debilitated in the seventh house of partnership. So any matter related to your domestic front, your domestic affairs, your home, the place where you live in, or your people who are living in and around you, any matter related to that, or any matter related to your partnership, maybe asking your attention and focus during this particular time. So certain things may bring anxiety or frustration. All of a sudden it can lead to some kind of anger also. So you have to maintain that calm composer within you and work on it. Channelize your energy in a cordial manner. That will give you much more better results. One thing which I can see is that Mars is your 11th lord, turning debilitated in the 7th house. So you may feel that the things which you are expecting related to your development, growth, financial development, or your income or your profits, you may feel that I am not getting that much, which or the way I am working. So that can be more with regards to professional partnership. Like suppose if you are in any kind of business partnership, so you may feel that certain matters are there within my partnership which is disturbing or which is hindering the growth, hindering the development. So you have to work on those things during this particular time, because ultimately it will try to bring some kind of clashes between you and your partner. Okay, so try to work on it, because it will not only bring a good bonding between you and your partner, but also it will try to improve your growth and development, because this particular transit of Mars is indicating those things. You have to be very careful regarding that. Mars will be aspecting your first house and your second house and your 10th house. So during this particular time, try to take care regarding your health. Try to avoid any unnecessary expenditures during this particular time, and also work on your speech. You should not get into any kind of speech or anything which you say, because you may feel that okay, let me say it, let me vent it out through my emotions. Okay, but the person who is listening to you, that person may get hurt. Okay, Mars will be aspecting your 10th house also. So during this particular time, try to avoid any kind of difference of opinion between you and your authorities and superiors. Although Mars will give you that proper energy to complete your work at your time at your workplace, but certain matters will be there which may disturb you. Okay, so this is not a time to get into any kind of arguments. Rather, just complete your work, just work on your arena, and later on when Mars enters the sign of Leo, things will be much more better for you. Okay, so that time it will be like a new sense of energy will come within you, and that will give you much more better results. Okay. For the Aquarius ascendant people, the transit of Mars is happening in the 6th house. Normally the transit of Mars in the 6th house is considered very good, because it makes a person very work oriented. It allows the person to have the energy at right place at the right time. But here Mars is debilitated. So during this particular time, don't overdo anything. Rather, I will say the present work, because 6th house is also the house of job and service. Okay, so wheresoever you are doing the job, or wheresoever you are doing any kind of service, any kind of work, or you are working under someone, so just focus on your present work. That will give you much more better results. And Mars will be aspecting your 12th house and your first house, transiting through the 6th house. So during this particular time, you need to be very careful regarding your health also. Any prevalent health matters which is going on at this moment of time, you should not ignore it. Rather, you should be very careful regarding that. For the Aquarius ascendant people, Saturn is transiting in your first house and Mars is aspecting the first house. So during this particular time, it is very essential that you should be very careful regarding your health and your decision making, because at times you may feel that what will happen if I do it. This kind of feeling may come within you. Let me do it. Out of that energy, out of that impulsion, you may start something. Or what will happen if I do this? What will happen if I say it? Who cares? This kind of feelings may come within you at times, because typical 6th house energy. Okay, it may make you at times very ruthless. Okay, you may feel that let me do it. But I will say you that this is not a time to work on this way. In fact, you can channelize this Martian energy to improve the things which demands more nourishment, more emotions in a proper manner. Like suppose you love to do some kind of work, so bring that emotional energy and make it much more perfect. That will give you much more better results, because typical 6000 energy working on one thing in a regular manner, typical 6000 energy, and Mars will help you out here. Okay, during this particular time I will say that certain matters related to your father, or work of your father, because 6000 is 10th from the ninth house, may be disturbing, or you may feel that certain things related to your father or your work of your father is disturbing you. Okay, that can be a sense of worry for you. Okay, so take care regarding the health of your father also, because Mars will be aspecting your ninth house. So take care regarding your own health also, and take care regarding the health of your father also. Okay, so that will give you much more better results. So that's it for the Aquarius ascendant people. For the Pisces ascendant people, Mars is a very important planet, and Mars is transiting in the fifth house in the sign of debilitation in the sign of Cancer. Mars is your ninth lord. Mars is also your second lord. Now, ninth lord means the sign which, the house which links or signifies your fortune, luck, prosperity, overall optimism, happiness, teachings of your guru and father, basically your father. Okay, so I will say that during this particular time you may feel that you are planning certain things but your luck is not favoring you. You may feel like this, or you may feel that certain matters related to you and your father is not getting co-aligned, it is not getting aligned properly. So there can be some kind of clashes between what decision making you are taking and what he is taking. Okay, so some classes can be there, some disputes can be there, or difference of opinions can be there. So I will say you that try to avoid it. Try to maintain proper cordial bonding between you and your father, and how you are dealing with your guru also during this particular time. Try to avoid any kind of adventure activities or any kind of long distance travels during this particular time. Rather, I will say that work on your present skill set. Apply that Martian energy to work on the things which you love the most, because at times you may feel that the things which you are doing is not getting that proper application reality. You will feel that I am not getting the results out of it, I have been working on it, so that means some loopholes are there. So this is a time when you have to work on those drawbacks. Try to improve your skill set, that will give you much more better results, because at times you may feel that I may have that creative talent but I'm not getting results out of it. You may feel like that. Okay, so more you improve or increase that skill set, that will give you much more better results. Mars will be aspecting your 12th house and 8th house. Okay, so this is a time when you need to be very careful regarding your health also, and don't get into any kind of adventure activities or any kind of sports activities which are not meant to be done now. Okay, because that can lead to some kind of unnecessary health issues or injuries. Okay, during this particular time, Mars will be aspecting your 11th house also. Normally this will try to help you to work on your projects or your in your team, that can give you good results, but Mars is debilitated. So I will say you that just work and concentrate, focus on your work. Okay, try to avoid any kind of problems between or arguments between you and your network circle or your team members, that will give you much more better results. Okay, because after Mars leaves the sign of Cancer, it enters the sign of Leo. That time it will give you much more better results, because that time Mars will be transiting in your 6th house. Okay, so that time the transit will really give you good results. So this, during this particular time, just try to work on your own management skills, your punctuality, your discipline. Okay, and yes, try to avoid unnecessary ego, because this Mars will bring that false ego within you, and out of that ego you may take some step which is not meant to be taken. Okay, very essential during this particular time. So that's it for the Pisces ascendant people, and if you have liked this video, tap onto the like button, share it to your near and dear ones who needs to know about this transit of Mars through the sign of Cancer. And if you want a consultation from me, check the links down in the description section. You can mail me through my email ID, or you can connect with me through my Facebook or Instagram accounts. Okay. And if you are new to this channel, tap onto the subscribe button, click onto the notification bell icon, so that every time I make a new video you get notified instantly. So that's it for now, and I'm signing off for today. Thanking you. Bye bye.